Write and solve proportions. That's our topic for lesson 3, and our learning target is I can write and solve a proportion to represent a real life scenario. Proportion are two ratios that are equal. So as you can see, we have 4/8 equals 2/4. They both represent half of our circle. So we can say those fractions are equal. Another way to know if ratios are equal or proportional is our cross products property, which says if two fractions have the same cross product, then they are proportional. So let's break that down a little bit more. We've got the same cross product. So product, remember, means multiply. So when we see the word product, we want to think multiply. And then when we see this word cross, that just is those diagonals, because it makes that like crisscross. And then proportional just means that they're equal. So when we look at our first cross, we have 2 and 8. So we're going to multiply 2 and 8. So 2 times 8 equals 16. So 16 is the product of the first cross. And then we have our second cross, 4 and 4. So we do 4 times 4, which is also 16. So as you can tell, they have the same cross product. That means those fractions or ratios are proportional. So we're going to use that to help us solve our proportions after we write them today. So our first situation is 9 markers cost $11.50. How much would 15 markers cost? So in order to solve this, we have to first write a proportion. So two ratios set equal to each other, and then solve it to find our answer. So first off, we have to write our proportion. So our situation is split into 2 parts. So part 1 says that 9 markers cost $11.50. So to write a ratio for 9 markers costs $11.50, we can say 9 over 11.50. That's just comparing the number of markers to the cost. Now we go back up to the situation and we look at the second part. It says, how much would 15 markers cost? So we know the number of markers. We know markers is 15. So I put that on the top because markers is on the top. But it's asking us how much would that cost. That means we don't know the cost. The cost is our unknown. It's a question mark. So when we don't know something in math, we put a variable. So I'm going to put M. No, I shouldn't use M for markers because we know the markers. We don't know the cost. So we could put C for cost, or we could just use X. X is very general, easy to remember. So now I'm going to show you the shortcut for solving a proportion. When we look at our proportion, we look for the 2 numbers that are across from each other, not the number and the variable. So we're not going to start with 9 and X. We're going to start with this part of our proportion, the 15 and 11.50. And we are going to multiply those 2. And then we're going to find that last number, and then we're going to divide by that. And that is going to be the value of X. So X equals whatever 15 times 11.50 is divided by 9. So I can take my calculator, do 15 times 11.50, and then divide that by 9. And I get 19.166666, so I can round that to $19.17 is what the cost would be. All right, our last situation is 3 pounds of apples cost $4.19. How many pounds of apples could you buy with $10? So again, we want to split up our proportion into the 2 chunks. We've got the first chunk is 3 pounds of apples cost 14 or $4.19. So we can write that first proportion as 3 over 419. We got pounds over money. And then our second part says, how many pounds of apples could you buy with $10? So this time I know the money, and that goes on the bottom of my fraction. As you can see, money's on the bottom. So I'm going to put $10 on the bottom, but I don't know the pounds. The pounds are the question, how many pounds? So that's where we put our variable. So I'll use X again. So in this case, our shortcut, we have to find the two numbers that are without a variable. So as you can see, this diagonal has no variable. So we're going to start with multiplying those guys. So we're going to do 3 times 10. And then we're going to divide by the remaining number. So that looks like 3 times 10, enter, divided by that 419. And you can see it's 7.15990453. So we can round that to 716. So I know that my answer for X is $7.16. All right, that's all the notes I have for you. Thank you for watching this video, and please move into your practice.